So hey everybody, and welcome back to my comic drawing sessions where we learn about comic making and comic making techniques. My name is Samantha and I am the youth librarian at the Kansas City Public Library's Northeast branch. I also happen to be an illustrator and have been making comics my entire life ever since I could hold a crayon in my hand. Maybe not that early, but pretty early. This is my first time on YouTube doing this, but my third session. So I did the first two live on Facebook, and I'm currently working on getting those edited and then uploaded to YouTube so you can catch up and watch anything you missed. The first two lessons were fundamentals about drawing face emotions, and then the second one was about drawing different speech bubbles. Those are definitely important if you want to learn more about drawing comics. But if you subscribe to our YouTube channel here, Youth and Family Engagement KCPL, that will allow you to see those other two videos once they're uploaded. So the way that these sessions work is I just spend a few minutes talking about something comic related. Then I do a live drawing demonstration where I show you how to draw something or use some sort of technique. And then I share some resources with you at the end that you can access online since we're all in isolation right now. Something basically you can do from home or read comics from home. And then next time, if I have any questions on this comment thread, I'll go ahead and answer those questions on the next one. So let's get started. Today I'm going to share with you something really fun and just slightly embarrassing, and that is the first comic book I ever made, which I made in 6th grade when I was 12 years old. And I'm going to cover up part of it because it has another student's name on it, and I don't want to blast their name on the internet. But as you can see, it's called a comic book. I don't know if Facebook I don't know if YouTube inverts the text or not, if you can read that the way it should be. I think it is inverting it. This is going to be difficult then. We'll figure it out. As you can see, it was not made with any fancy materials. It's 50% lined notebook paper that still has some of the frill on it, and then some copy paper. And I drew almost all of it with just pencil. So most of this was done in class, probably during math, knowing me. And all of the supplies I used were supplies I had in my desk or in my classroom. So I think this is a really great example of the fact that you don't need a whole art studio to be able to make a comic book. I made one when I was 12. So if I can make one at 12, anyone can make one. And why don't I just go ahead and read you one of the comics, just so you can get a real good sense of how I don't want to say lame my humor was, but yeah. So here's a comic I wrote about, it's like a superhero comic, and it says, there's a kid and he says, "Look up in the sky." And then there's a crazy bird lady and she says, "It's a bird." And then a kid with a toy airplane says, "No, it's a plane." So clearly they're excited about those things. And then the kid says, "Nah, it's just Superman." And the lady says, and the kid says, "Phooey." I thought that was so funny when I was 12. Don't really know if I think it's that funny now, but you know, our humors change. So I'm going to jump right into the drawing portion of this to make the lesson just a little bit shorter. I feel like I've been running a little longer in the first few. So today we're going to learn about telling a joke, which is a really important part of comics. You know, some comics are long stories, and then some are known as funnies. They literally call funnies because they just tell funny jokes. And a lot of these you'll see, they used to be in newspapers. They still are in newspapers, but I'm assuming a lot of kids now don't really read newspapers, but you can still find the funnies in the newspaper. But an important part of telling a joke is in the timing. So a comic, it's kind of like in a song. There's a beat to a song, and if you mess up the beat, you mess up the song. Well, comics are kind of the same way. If you mess up the beat of the comic, the joke won't land just right. It won't be quite as funny. So a good way to start understanding timing, I think, is learning when to pause in your comic, especially around the punchline. You can pause before or after the punchline, and that will affect how the reader is reading the joke. So a good way to start practicing this, I think one of the best ways to start practicing how to draw a joke is by drawing a knock-knock joke, which seems kind of silly or kind of weird, but it fits really well because you only need 4 panels, and everybody knows the structure of a knock-knock joke, right? It's knock-knock, who's there, blank, blank who, and then usually some pun or play on the word. And the reason that 4 panels works perfectly for a knock-knock joke is because you have 3 panels for the joke, and then 1 panel, sorry, let me mute that. 1 panel for the reaction. So I'm going to show you real quick how we're going to divide up this piece of paper. This is when you're going to want to get your paper and your pen or pencil out. And we're going to have our paper horizontal today because it'll help us divide the paper up better. So horizontal is when the longer sides are on the top and bottom and the shorter sides are on the left and right. So we're going to divide our paper into half. And then we're going to divide it in half again. So this leaves us with 4 sections that we're going to tell the joke in. So when you're telling a knock-knock joke in a comic strip, and you want to create a pause somewhere before or after the punchline, that can really affect how the reader is reading the punchline. So I kind of think of a knock-knock joke like blowing up a balloon, which sounds kind of weird, but think about it like this. So let's say you have a joke, and you're about to deliver the punchline, and you take a deep breath. It's kind of like blowing up a balloon, right? You go, knock, knock, who's there? Blank, blank who? And then you go, and you wait for the punchline, right? So let's do an example. Knock, knock, who's there? A quiche. A quiche who? And then you wait. Can I have a quiche and a hug? See, it kind of creates this buildup, like what is this punchline going to be? The opposite is true of if you put the pause at the end of the comic. So let's do the same joke. This is what I call deflating the balloon when you put the reaction at the end. So let's say, knock, knock, who's there? A quiche. A quiche who? Can I have a quiche and a hug? Different effect, right? One is you're building up for the cheesy moment. The other is you're kind of deflating after the moment. Like, that was silly, right? So whichever you decide to pause before, my camera is inverted, so if you can't read what I'm writing, I'm really sorry. I don't know how to fix that right now. So I'm going to use stick figures because I can draw stick figures faster than I can draw rounded characters to tell this joke. So as we all know, a joke goes, or knock-knock joke starts with knock, knock, right? So we're going to put this character on this side of the page and this character on this side of the page saying, who's there? And then you can draw your characters. So I'm going to draw the guy saying knock, knock for the quiche joke. He's going to be holding a quiche. And of course, you want to draw when people are talking, you want to draw their mouths open. So he's holding the quiche. And a quiche is like basically a pie made with eggs, if you are wondering what a quiche is. So knock, knock. And then the other guy's saying, joke. So he's going to say, a quiche. And I'm going to make him holding out the quiche, like a quiche. And then, of course, in the knock-knock joke, you say, a quiche shoe. Hope I'm spelling quiche right. And I'm going to make the other guy going like, ooh, maybe I'm about to get a quiche. She's really excited. So they think they're about to get the quiche. And then, of course, the punchline was really silly, right? It was, can I have a hug and a quiche? And for this one, we're going to put the reaction at the end because I think this joke works better with the reaction at the end. Because we all know after we've been asked for a kiss, we are not happy, right? So he's going to be still holding the quiche out. And then the other character is going to look really annoyed that they just asked for a hug and a quiche. And remember in our first lesson, we learned how to draw annoyed faces with the eyebrows straight down over the eyes. Crossing their arms. And then, so now is your chance to draw the reaction or the pause. And for this one, I feel like the reaction of the character was to be really annoyed. So I'm going to have this character smash the quiche on top of the head of the other character. So we're going to draw like this. And the quiche is on his head. And it's dripping down. And then this character can be walking off. Off camera. Okay, so we have the joke set up, and then we have the reaction at the end. And that's going to be where the funny part is, right? How did the character react to the joke? Now, if we were to switch it and make the reaction before, we would have a different effect. And now I'm going to show you an example of that on a new piece of paper. So grab a new piece of paper. I'm going to grab something real quick. Okay, so now we're, again, going to cut our paper in half. Woo. Like so. So now we're going to practice putting the reaction before the punchline and seeing how that changes the kind of joke. So this is a different knock knock joke. Let's see, knock knock. Oops, almost wrote the wrong letter. And then, of course, the character says, "Who's there?" So why don't we make this one this character will look like this. And I like when you're drawing a knock knock joke, you can draw the other person in two different ways. You can draw them happy to answer, like, "Oh, who's there?" Because sometimes people are excited when you say knock knock. But then a lot of times you get this reaction. Have you ever said knock knock and the person goes, "Who's there?" Because they just know it's going to be something really silly. I like to draw happy people though. And I say, "Who's there?" And then let's see this one. I had to look this one up. And these are not my jokes. These are ones I got offline. The point of this exercise is to not come up with your own jokes. The point of this exercise is to practice how to tell a joke. Lena, like the name. Oh yeah, I was going to draw a tie on him. And then they would say, "Lena, who?" Lena who? And so now we're doing the reaction or the build-up moment before the punchline. And so usually what you want to do is something that will make the punchline even funnier. So what I'm going to do is have this character grab the other character's tie and pull him. So let's see. He looks kind of demented. And then the punchline is, "Lean a little closer and I'll tell you another joke." And I'm going to draw the character like whispering it in the other character's ear. And he looks really confused. So that's a way you can tell a joke by putting the reaction before, and then like before, the reaction after. And it can really change how the joke works. In different jokes, you want different reactions before or after. It just depends on the joke and what kind of humor you want to do. But like I said, it's like a balloon. This is like deflating the joke because the reaction's at the end, the joke fell flat, or the joke was reacted to poorly, or the other character did something in revenge of the joke. And then this one is inflating the joke or inflating the balloon. You're building up the joke. You're creating a reaction before the punchline to make it more interesting. So that's a really simple way to learn how to tell jokes and how to get really good timing in comics. Okay, so now that we've practiced your takeaway project today, every time we do a takeaway project, this one is I want you to get your own knock-knock joke and I want you to make it into a comic strip. So you're going to decide if you want to put the reaction before or after the punchline. And when you do that, you can even do the same joke twice and see how it changes when you do the reaction before or after the punchline. So it's a really great way to practice, and I think one of the best ways to learn comedic timing. And like I said, they don't have to be your own jokes. You don't have to come up with your own. You can go online and find knock-knock jokes. Or if you have a library card, you can go to the Kansas City Public Library and go to their catalog and type in knock-knock jokes. And we actually have some ebook knock-knock jokes in our catalog, and we have some on our Hoopla. So if you go to those, you can get free knock-knock jokes. And then another great resource that I'm going to leave with you, and then I'm going to link all of these in the description below. So after the fact, you can go to the video and see in the description and under the video all of the links to everything I'm talking about. There's another great resource called Make Beliefs Comics, and it's an online thing that teachers use to make comics with kids. And basically what it is you can create your own comics and put words in the bubbles, but you don't have to draw it yourself. So you can kind of just play around on there, maybe mess with things and see how you can make really funny jokes by just moving the pictures around. So remember, if you want to post a picture of what you've drawn today and you don't have your own social media, you can ask a grown-up to post it for you on our Instagram, or you can tag us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, just at KC Library. And then we'll be able to get to see your picture, and maybe I'll even share some on here. Like I said, all the links to this, all of our social media, the Make Beliefs comics, our online catalog, the ebook, jokes, all of that stuff will be in the description below. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you learned something about making comics. Again, keep an eye out on our channel, subscribe, and you'll see when I upload those other 2 videos that I had made before, so you can learn everything you need to know about comics. And we will again be doing this every Wednesday at 1 p.m. And also starting next week, there will be some other programs on here for you as well. Do keep in mind that because our page is geared towards kids, I don't believe you get a notification when we go live because they don't allow push notifications towards children. So you'll just have to remember yourself that it's at 1 p.m. every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as an activity. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned how to tell a good joke, and I can't wait to see your jokes. Bye.